I have returned from the living dead. Uh, Actually, no, it hasn't really been the living dead. I mean, I did get sick with what I think was COVID for the first time. That was like 3 weeks ago. But no, it's really been just, a lot of other content creators, RB, DJ, a lot of them have just been killing it. And every time I think about an off-season move that we've made, it's kind of like the other guys have already covered it extensively, and I do this whole thing for fun. But I definitely do recognize the inconsistency of my uploads for those who do like my perspective. I realize that's an issue, and so. But today is actually not about, b-ball, although a little bit more intertwined later. Today, see, I'm a basketball guy first and foremost. It's a sport that I know on an intimate level. But football was actually my first love, up until like age 9 and 10 and stuff. And that's when I saw Allen Iverson and and AI. Uh, oh, 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 AI was my real introduction into the game of basketball, and because of that, that's what got me shifted toward basketball and away from football. But I use football as my entertainment. This dead month of September is the dead zone of the NBA. And I was just going into this thinking, I hope we could go 2-2. Well, we've already won 2 games. Now I'm thinking ambitiously 3-0. And do we have two contenders in Philadelphia? Two of them. The game today was absolutely great for a whole host of reasons. Justin Jefferson coming in. Everyone knows that that's the pick that we would have liked to have had made. And Howie Roseman was super elaborate, more elaborate than most GMs are. And it came down to, you know, what a lot of people were thinking is that Justin Jefferson couldn't run on the outside. I think people are now recognizing you don't need to be a speedster to win on the outside. You just need to be big and tall. Those are the guys who dominate on the outside. But not tonight because big play Slay, man, he's taking it personal. A lot of people have written off big play Slay. I think it's because he's played in Philadelphia. There's a bias against Philadelphia. We know this. Jerome B having two MVP caliber years, all league second team twice, not a first team to show for it. So we know all about the BS in the media against Philadelphia athletes. Just call it what it is. So a lot of people have just been trashing Big Play Slay. And on national television, Big Play Slay reminded the NFL and reminded those casuals who may only watch one Eagle game a year. He reminded them, I'm still that dude. I'm still that guy on the defensive backs. Just dominated Justin Jefferson. Our linebackers, I feel, are pretty good, actually. I thought we covered the middle of the field well. And, we finally got to Kirk Cousins a bit late. That defensive front, though, feels like they could do more. There's some people have talked about it. Hassan Reddick in pass coverage when he's normally a blitzing linebacker. But hey, it worked for 1 week for Jonathan Gannon, so can we really say anything when it worked? So that's something to keep an eye on because the pass rush right now, it's not really getting home. But overall, I thought the defensive line, did okay. We were all talking about Dalvin Cook coming into this matchup, right? Let me get my eyes. We were all talking about Dalvin Cook coming in. after we got gashed on the ground by the Lions. And we pretty much plugged up the running attack early, and we kept at it. And now, to be fair, because Minnesota fell behind, unlike the Lions, who were committed to the run even when down big, the Vikings are like, let's throw the football with Kirk Cousins. Even as a casual fan, I know that Kirk Cousins has been dog shit against most NFL teams, but when it's come to us, for some reason, he's always happened to look like a better quarterback than he actually is. Joe Webb style. And so tonight, we finally were able to get to Kirk Cousins and get Kirk Cousins to play Kirk Cousins level football, which is not good enough. I remember in 2017, they're debating Case Keenum or Kirk Cousins. I think we showed the Viking fan base tonight it's neither. You got to go get someone else. Because if you think Kirk Cousins is going to lead your offense anywhere, at least against good football teams, I don't know, fam. I don't know if that's what you want to ride on. And just credit to the backfield. You know, Howie Roseman is a fucking genius. He robbed the Saints twice. It's one thing to rob a franchise once, but to rob them twice. He is robbing the safety from them. He's been nothing but terrific. He's a he's basically like a Malcolm Jenkins. He's gonna make plays all over the field. And sometimes, that comes with freeway and sometimes he'll make a mistake, but he's also going to make a play. And I think you feel his physicalness. I think you feel his tenacity on that second level. So what a pickup from the Saints. And they didn't want to pay him. Poverty franchise. That's what Howie Roseman basically did. He robbed every elite player from poverty franchises. Tennessee, you don't want to pay A.J. Bell? Okay, we'll give you a couple of picks. But that's kind of what you have to do, and that's kind of what you can afford to do when your quarterback is cheap, because the NFL quarterback contract get absolutely ridiculous. And Jalen Hurts, not to take anything away, let's send it back. Jalen Hurts tonight took his first step to getting those ridiculous dollars. For me personally, I've made more Twitter posts and videos because, again, I'm a football casual at this point. I openly admit it. I'm not going to come to you and say, I know the schemes, I know what they're running, I know certain stuff. I'm not going to say that because I don't. But for me, from a casual perspective, and what I think makes good quarterbacks work, especially dual threat quarterbacks, is when you're able to use your legs to make a play. Like there's a difference between, oh, I can boot out the pocket and I can just run for a down, and using your legs to just buy yourself some time to be able to throw a dart 15, 20 times, 20 yards down the field. And he did that 3 times, including the beautiful play action where he's able to hit Quez Watkins for that 53-yarder, just using his legs to supplement his arm game. It's not, excuse me for a second right there, it's not taking away from your legs, it's using your legs to help out your arm. You use both. And I feel like today, he used both to his advantage. And that's what's going to make him an elite quarterback. And you can use both your arms and your legs together to make him a true dual threat quarterback. So this was the first big step in the right direction for Jalen Hurts as a franchise quarterback. Yeah, a couple of games like this, a season like this, and the Eagles had their guy. And, just because you have your guy, like, let's be real, there's not going to be games where you play great and you lose. See the Lamar Jackson game to Miami. Stuff like that's going to happen. But if he's able to complete 63, 64, 65% of his passes, able to hit the deep ball game consistently enough on an elite NFL level, then I think he's a guy moving forward. And that's good because, again, the defensive line, that's what I come away with. I don't like our defensive line. I just don't. because we Eagle fans, we know we're all about getting to the quarterback, and we're not able to get there. So I feel like we're old on the defensive line. I would love to use the two first round picks to get some defensive end talent. I need to find a Trent Cole successor. I need to find a guy that gets double-digit sacks because we're obviously not getting it done with all four front. So defensive line is still a position in need. Milton Williams and Tupolipo, I guess they're okay, but that's all they are. They're just okay. And that's not good enough for the Eagles rush. But they were not. I mean, you win 24-7, so I shouldn't really be nitpicking, right? Total domination by the offense, total domination by the defense, in a particular play. But Bradbury got a few possessions in there where he just played. And Howie Roseman's a genius. You have Darius Slay on one end, you acquire him from the Lions. You have Bradbury on the other end, banking New York, much appreciated. You got these two corners. You got your your linebackers. TJ Edwards is underrated. I know after week one, we were all talking about, where's the Kobe Dean? Why hasn't the Kobe Dean gotten on the field? And I realized, and it came alive in this game, and I even tweeted it. TJ Edwards is a pro's pro. He knows the system. He knows where to be on defense. And he just knows how to wrap up tackle. So TJ Edwards isn't going to do anything amazing. He's not a big play slave per se, but he's going to get the job done at linebacker. And I can't find fault with Jonathan Gannon with going with a guy who you know who you're going to get, and you know he's going to be there in the system, and he's going to be reliable, and he's going to make good plays. Nakobe Dean's going to get his time at some point in the future. But with the reliability of TJ Edwards, he really gave me TJ McConnell vibes. Pun intended with DJ, but he gave me TJ McConnell vibes where you just trust him. I trust TJ Edwards right now. And so I think that he's there with that linebacking core because he is right. That current core right now, they got it rolling. They got it rolling, and it's going to be Nakobe's turn soon. I know that he's going to have a big game somewhere, whether it's this season or next, where he's going to show us that Georgia Bulldog, you know, because the Vikings didn't run a lot, you didn't see a lot of Jordan Davis either, but the Bulldogs that we drafted, they're going to be a big part of this. I know they are. I just think we have to add more to Dean and Davis. We were able to fully revamp the offense, and I know, but it's just one game, so don't get hyped on. One game defensively was great, but I personally feel like what we did with the offense, now it's time in the offseason, next offseason, to do that with the defense, to add to Kobe Dean and Jordan Davis and revamp this defense because there are points where you're like, you know, but that's not the worst part of it. The worst part of tonight was the special teams. Our special teams is shit. And this is something where even I can be specific. Teams are teams. You have two jobs: block and hit. Those are your jobs. Right? You're not even good football players. You make the 53-man roster, 46 on game day. You make it the teams. That's all you're there for. It's your only job. So, as an example, do we know if Brendan Kobe is an effective punt returner? I don't know because no one is landing their blocks. You've got to land your blocks. If you don't land your blocks, how can I possibly expect the returner to be able to return the football? And this comes back to bite us almost in a major way when, again, they don't hit their blocks and we get a blocked field goal. I need these special team players to understand this. You only made the roster to play teams. That's literally the only reason you are a scrub in NBA terms. You're a scrub. The only reason you're on this roster is because you play teams. And you're the worst unit on the field. I need you to make your blocks so our returners can return shit. I need you to make your blocks so our kickers don't get their kicks blocked. It's that simple. And if you can't do it, hey Howie, cut some of these scrubs and find better team players. Because you can't find skill players, all the time. You can't find a quarterback all the time. But can we find better blockers for the special team? Can we find better hitmen for the special teams? Pretty sure we could. So this keeps up and the special teams unit continues to perform poorly. Feel free to get rid of them because it's just teams. God, it was awful watching special teams tonight. Give them an F. Just and obviously when the offense and defense plays as well because even more of a bright spot on them. But good God, special teams is the shit. It's the shit sticks. It wins the only shit sticks award. Special teams is garbage. But really, the Eagles starting out 2-0, it's a pleasant surprise. We played a hard-fought, scrapey-line team that's changing the culture there in Detroit. They have young players. Dan Campbell is the coach. They're starting to build something over there. So we may have underestimated the Detroit Lions. That's a good week one win. And what we did tonight, so you're 2-0. And there was a comment that I made on Twitter to a dear friend of mine, Gate City, where I was like, and this was really during that stretch where Jalen Hurts went 10 for 10, and I'm like, not much has been thought about the fact that this is year two for Jalen Hurts under Nick Sirianni and Saints pitching, and the comfortability that adds to a quarterback. And I think we saw that tonight. But then I thought the same applies for most team sports. They'll give you a little sixth tidbit of excitement. This is a full year in training camp for the big three of James Harden, Jerome B, and Tyrese Maxey. Over the years, because of varying circumstances, we've had to make fits to the starting lineup every single year. For the first time, we're returning four of our starters. And so I think that that's big for what this upcoming season means for the Sixers because the coaching staff remains the same, a year of continuity, training camp, the guys seem to love each other. Harden and Maxey dap each other up constantly. So some pretty good vibes in Philadelphia tonight. We look like we could do some real shit, guys. This looks really, really promising. Everyone knows it really cares, so what comes up must come down. But I gotta say this. Even when it comes down, we're gonna remember that high, and we're gonna remember this is this team's potential. This is what this team can do. Like Jalen Hurts said in the exit interview, we still haven't reached our standard yet. We could still go higher. Yeah, some checkers. This video is not sponsored by checkers, but I'm sponsoring checkers. Go Birds, go Sixers. Peace.